Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. They had fireworks at Portman Road, and we have them here as well. Look, fantastic. Thank you, Colin. An added attraction. Welcome to our special Christmas sparkly edition of Life's a Pitch TV. We're on the road at the Willow Suite at Venue 16 in Ipswich. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on podcast, you are most welcome to our special edition of the show. Let me introduce you to the team. Big up for former Ipswich England skipper Terry Butcher. Careful when you sit down, Butch, there might be some more sparks in a moment or two. Former Ipswich and England star, it's Russell Osman! And give it up also for another member of the team, it's Phil Paddington Ham from twtd.co.uk. That was a bit close, Phil, wasn't it? But it's all safe. Don't worry. We tested it out earlier on. And the person's in A&E, so it's fine. No, don't worry about it. It's all good.
I've got no eyebrows left now.
Nice and safe. Good to see you, boys. What a crowd, look.
Fantastic.
Yep. This is the best crowd since last week. Unbelievable.
Fantastic. We've got lots of people to thank for us being here tonight. We really have. We couldn't do it without our sponsors, many of whom are here in the room tonight. A massive thank you to our main sponsor, DPS Tech, everybody. Down the front here. Also, a massive thank you to our other sponsors for making the show happen. All About Hearing. Shout out if you're here. Marketing company, Ginger Pickle. Forward Floors. Come Hither Design. The Hudson Group. Sound 4 Pro Audio, Venue 16, Fred Olsen Logistics, John Keeble Cars Bramford, and the Dove in Ipswich. They're here somewhere. Couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you very, very much. And a big shout out also, our pyrotechnics tonight was supplied and fired by Trafalgar Fireworks of Norwich. But don't worry about that. They're also Dynamic Fireworks of Colchester. They may be based in Norfolk, but they're very much an Ipswich firm. They have the Firework Emporium in Ipswich, and we love them, and they're going to get involved with Life's a Pitch. So give them a big round of applause. Thank you, Colin. And Warren, who can't be here tonight. We do need a special guest, though. Every week on the show, we have a special guest, and this week is no different. Would you please give a massive round of applause? He's one of the boys who won the UEFA Cup. It's only Steve McCall, everybody! Come and take a seat, Steve. Come and grab a seat here. Fantastic to see you. Really good to see you. Are you all right over there, boys? You're nice and comfy? This is lovely up here, isn't it?
All good.
Yep. Very nice. Steve, great to see you.
Thank you very much.
Nice to be with the boys again.
Nice to see them. Looking very well, very fit.
Yep.
Nice to see there's just a quiet little intimate
Yeah, you didn't realise quite how big the crowd was going to be tonight, did you?
Yeah, no, it's been a while since I've performed under such a crowd. You know.
And George Burley, who's here. Where are you, George? He said to me earlier on, he said, I thought it was a little intimate thing tonight. No, sorry, George. We'll see George a bit later on. Great to have you here. How often do you get to see town these days?
Yeah, see most of the home games. Yeah, I've been very impressed. It's good times. You know, hopefully we can finish the season off in a real style, and certainly playing that way. So if we can just continue with the great football and continue scoring goals, we'll could be a great end of season.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I'm still predicting top 2.
Good.
You're not so sure, eh? Oh, come on, look. We're going to run away with it, aren't we?
Yes.
Thank you.
If you say so, Mark, yes.
Would you like to play in that team?
It's a fantastic team, yeah. They play great football. It's very expansive and open and very exciting for the crowd. You know, it's absolutely fantastic.
And massive crowds as well. Fantastic to see all those people turning out, young and old.
I don't know where they've come from. I really don't. You know, I mean, we're winning the UEFA Cup and we're getting 22,000. You know, and all of a sudden we're in the Championship here and we've got 30,000. I'm thinking, where the hell have they all come from?
They've been making lots of babies since '81, I think.
Well, they're doing a
Inflation.
great job because they're right behind the team, and it certainly helped to the players as well.
Wasn't it one of the Cobble brothers who encouraged fans to make babies?
That was after the youth team won the FA Youth Cup, I think, in 1975, and Mr. John Cobbold at the celebratory dinner.
73, George says, 73. You know what George is like with stats, I'll tell you now. Yeah.
No, excuse me. I was captain of the side in '75. We beat West Ham United in front of 18,000 people at Pullman Road, and John Cobbold gave the speech at the Cot Dock Hotel afterwards and told all the parents to have an early night and go and produce another team for him 18 years later. So that was the year I was talking about, George, which is when Mr. John made that speech. Sorry? Yeah, he probably did. He did that now and again, John, didn't he? He just slid under the table afterwards, though.
I think that's all he talked about was making babies, but there we are.
Well, clearly it's worked, hasn't it, over all these years? Clearly it's worked over all
when
these
you
years.
talked about Steve and watching the team now, we have a left back called Leif Davis, but we had Steve McCall. And Steve was in, unfortunately, because George was injured, but Steve came in. And Steve, you've played all over the park, haven't you? Midfield and everything else like that.
Prior to that, been filling in, really.
But if I had the choice between Leif Davis and Steve McCall, I would go for Steve McCall.
It's only saying that because I'm sitting here.
Every day of the week, because he's so reliable. He can defend as well. He can kick people. He's good on the far post as well. I would say he's not blessed with a good look, so no one went near him. An opponent player anyway. But we used to work on the back four and work on how we used to play and all that sort of thing. And it was all about distances, the right distance between us as a back four. Because in old days they used to have a rope around you. You used to tug along like a rope, so you got pulled over. But he was there all the time. The only time he wasn't there, I let him know in certain circumstances when I had him by the throat.
Yeah.
So I think he did. I think he learnt from that. But he was, and he's one of these people that he never gets a lot of praise. He never gets, he's not the superstars and all this, or internationals and all this sort of thing. But he's there week in, week out.
8 out of 10.
And he's never
week
injured.
in, week out.
Yeah, he's never injured.
I've still got the marks around my neck.
Yeah.
Well, sadly, I think he's carrying a tennis injury, which does throw the keepy uppy challenge into disarray.
Oh.
But no, don't worry, we'll get around that somehow or other later on in the show. But lots to talk about. We'll talk about more in a moment or two with you and the boys. I'm sure you've got lots of stories to share with us. But let's talk about what the boys are making of the season so far. It's the season so far, sponsored by the Dove in Ipswich. Brilliant. Phil, West Brom last week. What happened, everybody? What happened last week? Come on, it just wasn't to be, was it?
It wasn't. We conceded early, didn't we? I think that was the kind of, not turning point as such, but they're a very good side. They're an experienced side at this level, physically very strong. And yeah, once they got their kind of noses in front, we found it very difficult to get into the game, and uncharacteristically, we didn't manage a shot on target, did we? Which is extremely unusual for this team. I think it was the first time we haven't scored in a match for 35. I think previously 35 matches we'd scored in. So, yeah, an off day, but nothing to get too concerned. I know there was a bit of social media. People said, oh my God.
Some people thought we.
I know the sky was falling in, but I suspect there are Man City fans who feel like this every week. Do you know what I mean? Whenever they have a draw or whatever, and so yeah, I think the thing that was notable was that you'd had a few people sort of talking about 3-horse races and things like that, hadn't you? Sort of beforehand about us and Leeds and Leicester. But I think it made it clear that there are more clubs that are going to be involved in it than just the three at the top. I think Southampton will come into it. And West Brom, I thought, looked like a team that could well be up there come the end of the season.
What do you make of it, boys?
Well, I think they were a good side, West Brom. Fit, athletic, big, strong, played some good football. And never really let us get a foothold of the game. And listen, we weren't at our best, but at the end of the day, it ended up being third, beat second place at the home of the third place team. So, two top teams competing at the top of the table. It was an entertaining game, but we were just on the wrong end of far too much on the day. We just second best all over the pitch.
What do you think, Butch?
Yeah, I mean, they're too strong for us for a start. And it was all through the middle. The two centre-backs, rubbish George Hurst. George Hurst never really held the ball up well because he was always pressurised. And then the two in the midfield were stronger than in the midfield than us. And then obviously the strikers as well were stronger. So through the middle, they were excellent, West Brom. And they played some nice football because I don't think Tam could really, work out what was going on. So yes, it was an off day, but I don't know. Do we have a phobia about playing the top teams? Because last year we never beat other teams around us.
Plymouth, we didn't.
Yeah, we never beat them. And this season we obviously lost to Leeds. We lost to West Brom in the top six.
We've not beaten anyone above us yet.
Well, no. Southampton are there.
It's only one, yeah.
And obviously Hull are in the top six, so we've beaten them. So, but it's results against the top teams that will ultimately take us through in many respects. Because we've proved to be so dominant against the other teams. It's great to watch. But when it comes to the really big games, do you think we've got enough?
It's a massive month coming up.
It is
massive.
The thing is, it's consistency. This division, isn't it? I think more than anything else. And if you, a lot of teams will take points off each other, won't they? And if you're consistently beating teams like Millwall, we'll come on to that in a moment, won't we? The teams that are lower down, I think you'll stand a chance, even if you do slip up in one or two of the matches against the West Broms and people like that.
Yeah, I'd like Leicester's goals against record though at the moment. They've only conceded about 11 goals in 17, 18 games, is it, Phil? I'm sure you'll bounce that up in a second.
Find that in a moment.
But
speak amongst yourselves.
And we've conceded about 24, is it?
Yeah, we'll come on to that in a moment or two. Steve, did you watch the match last Saturday?
Yes, I did. And the way I look at it is, if we're not at our best against the top teams, we can suffer, and we did last week. But that's not going to sort of ruin our season. Our season will be defined by beating all the rest of them. We might have the odd one against the poorer teams. We might have a poor game against the better teams. But if we can keep picking 3 points up against all these others, we've now got a 7-point gap, and we can afford to lose one or two. And I think I looked at the table today. We're the only team to have lost 2 games in the whole season, which for a team coming up from Division 1 is absolutely fantastic, and credit to everybody.
Yeah, credit to them, everybody, don't you think? Fantastic. Millwall, of course, very different last night. What a first half. What a first half last night. I mean, it's like watching Barcelona, wasn't it? Brazil even. Argentina? No, sorry, I mustn't mention Argentina.
No, don't mention that. It wasn't like watching Barcelona because it was bloody freezing, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Well, I was standing pitch side doing the announcing last night, and they had the undersoil heating on, and I was convinced actually that it would be much warmer standing by the side of the pitch with that on, but it wasn't any different. It didn't make any odds whatsoever.
You talk about the undersoil heating. Was it actually fog, or was it just kind of because of the undersoil heating?
Well, we weren't sure whether it was the flames going up first of all, which brought the fog in, or the undersoil heating. But
creating steam.
No, it was really rolling in at one point, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but it was good. What did you make of that? That first half was stunning, wasn't it?
I can't remember the second half because I couldn't see the other end.
You didn't miss much.
No, I thought it was nice to see us because we've obviously conceded a lot of early goals of late. So it was nice to see us start nice and brightly with a good tempo, intense, and we got at them and we disrupted Millwall and we made them look a very poor side. And I don't think they're that bad. I think they'll end up mid-table. So I think it's credit to our lads that the football we played, and a couple of those goals were just, it was like watching Man City.
A joy to watch, wasn't it?
It was absolutely fantastic first half.
What do you think, Terry? What about last night?
I mean, I enjoyed the first half, but I think you've got to be. People aren't sort of laughing so much when I talk about Town in a negative way or slightly negative way, and then Steve talks he's gushing, and they all applaud him and everything else like that. It's fantastic. But I'm going to continue being not as much negative, but no, I just think Millwall were absolutely awful. I thought they were pants. They really were. And I'm thinking that's not the Millwall of old. The Millwall of old would have smashed you and be like West Brom, tough and physical. But they tried to play a little bit of football, but they didn't have the players, did they? But all you can do is beat the team in front of you. And if Ipswich play like that, they'll beat virtually every team in front of them because they dominated the ball. They scored some great goals. A lot of people I was talking about earlier on said, "What's your favourite goal?" I thought the third goal was the best one with the header. You don't see many headers now, but I thought the header from Broadhead was was very good, very calculated, but in the right area. So fantastic. So, but the goals that we've scored all season, wow, it's been unbelievable. Not quite like the Manchester United player at the weekend, but there've been some spectacular goals, and it's good to see Chaplin scoring again as well.
Yeah. What did you make, Russ?
Again, I enjoyed the first 35 minutes. Job was done in the first 10 minutes, really, wasn't it? And again, as Terry said, I think Millwall, they didn't start the game very well, and got worse from there. They had a game plan, and I think their manager Phil Hughes said he was a bit disappointed they didn't stick to the plan.
Yeah, that's what he said after the game. He sort of said we had a plan and we didn't really keep to it.
Yeah, but they were 2 down after 12 minutes, so there's not a lot of point keeping to the plan, is there?
No. Well,
in my book, I think it all goes out the window after like 12 minutes then.
Well, you have to have an alternative plan, don't you? They
Yeah.
clearly didn't have one of those either. So
Yeah. So, no, I thought they weren't the strongest side. I was watching Axel. I thought she had a steady game last night.
Yeah. What did we make of Axel Twenzaby last night, everybody? Yeah? A lot of praise on the after-match phone-in on a former radio station of mine last night for him.
But again, if I take Terry's point of view, you've got to have a look at the opposition that he was playing against. He had a lot of the ball. He read the game pretty well. Wasn't really under too much pressure in the 90 minutes, and I think he strolled through it. So, good performance from him.
What do you think of him, Terry?
Well, he looked very comfortable on the ball. He looked quick. He was strong. Didn't roll the ball under his foot a lot of the time that Wolfie does, which I hate doing that. Just pass the bloody thing. Just pass it. But no, you've got to have games in the first team to get used to how the first team want to play. You can do all the training and everything else, but until you're actually playing in a match environment, you then become accustomed to it. And I think he's going to be a good acquisition. We haven't seen the best of him yet, but there's a lot to come, I think, from him. And that's great news for the club.
What were they saying on your message boards, Phil?
Well, I think everyone's just delighted we won 3-1. I can't believe you've not mentioned the scoreline. 3-1, as we used to...
I'm going to come to that in a moment or two. I was saving it.
Oh,
yeah.
you were? Oh, sorry.
Too late now, isn't it?
Too late now.
Oh, sorry.
Apparently we won 3-1 last night.
Hey! No, I think, everyone delighted.
We should have rehearsed that bit.
I think that, we should rehearse something.
1 week it'd be nice, wouldn't it, really?
Yeah. But yes, I think, after the West Brom game, I think it was good. It was important to get back into a kind of confident winning stride again, and we're ahead after 5 minutes. I think that kind of calmed any nerves there were around the ground. Then the second goal after 12 minutes, and really it was not a stroll, because games are never a stroll, but we were comfortable, weren't we, really? I think everyone's just delighted.
Well, funny you should mention it was 3-1 last night.
Oh, yeah.
We've had an email through from Paul Markham, who is part of the Whittlesea gang, who used to email us when we were on Live to Pitch on the radio back in the day. Good luck with your show this evening, everybody. What a win last night. I'm pleased to say that having put a £1 bet on a 3-1 win every match since hearing Kevin Beattie make his prediction on a weekly basis, that I finally won some money last night.
Hey!
I think that deserves a round of applause. What a staunch guy.
Did he say how much?
No, he only put £1 on. I don't know how much he won, but Beat would always come out with that every week, 3-1. He also bet on Luongo to score last night, so he's very happy. Loving the show each week. Keep up the good work, lads. And that's from Dad from the Whittlesea gang. So, it's been a while since we've had a 3-1 win, isn't it?
It's the first one under McKenna, I saw someone say, and I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
Anybody remember that? Last 3-1 win?
Luke?
No, let's move on then. Steve, let's bring you back in here. Great to have you on the show this week. We've had a lot of great guests on the programme, and you're up there, as Terry and Russell said earlier on, with the greats of Ipswich Town, helping to put one of the stars on our shirt. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How did you come to be at Town in the first place?
At Town, I obviously came from Carlisle. As some people will know it, think it's in Scotland. But no, I was
Did you know where Ipswich was when you were poached?
Not really. I had to check on the map.
Yeah. Because Beat tells wonderful stories of having no idea where it was.
No, it's not some way we come across, But I was scouted by the same guy who brought Kevin Down and Eric Gates and David Geddes and a few others as well. And he brought me down, picked us up at the station. It was about a 12-hour car drive. That was before the A14 was built. And we came down and we had trials and for a week, and then we went home again. And then if you were lucky enough, you were invited back. And that was basically my story, really, was that my scout, John Carruthers, he pushed me, because I hadn't done that great in the first week, but he pushed me for me to come back, and thought I was worth another look. And I came back and I did much better the second time, and was offered a contract. Well, I wasn't offered a contract, but the story was that Bobby Robson would speak to my dad. So I was sent home on the train, and I was met at the station in Carlisle with John Carruthers and my dad. And they're shaking my hand saying, "Oh, congratulations." I'm saying, "Well, what for?" They said, "Oh, well, you've been offered a contract." My dad spoke to Bobby Robson, and he said, "Would you," because I had a job to go to, an apprenticeship to start on the Monday, and this was on the Thursday. And he said, my dad said, "Well, I'd rather him have a chance at football than not have had that chance and always be wondering what might have been." So I was back on the train on the Friday, coming back down to London, met the youth team on the Friday, and we went to Portsmouth and played in the youth game on the Saturday.
So Dad signed the deal for you, really?
So Dad made the decision for me, yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That kind of thing happened, didn't it, in those days?
All sorts happened in those days. Did your dad get a good deal out there?
I think he got a couple of footballs.
Did he? Yeah, those were the days.
What were your signings like? Similar or not?
Yeah, pretty similar. I came down on trial. Yeah, so very similar. You played a couple of games. I was from the Midlands, so it wasn't John Carruthers' area. It wasn't Ron Gray's area. Two great people, by the way. So I came down sort of independently, but stayed with a group of lads on the Carlton Hotel. It was on Burner Street. So we stayed there the first.
It's quite a salubrious place, isn't it? Anybody else stayed at the Carlton on Burner Street? One or two.
Yes, and it was good in those days. It was great, and played a couple of practice matches. Got invited back. Got invited to play in the youth team in the FA Youth Cup games. Yeah, so it worked out fantastically well for me because I was playing rugby at school. So, rugby at school and come down here for a game of football.
Posh school.
Did they scout you playing rugby for football then?
Yeah, probably the way I tackled in those days.
That carried on, didn't it, throughout your whole career?
Yes. Well, somebody had to do the tackling at the back with these two strolling around.
Terry, what about your signing? Dad involved with you?
No. No, I was just invited for a trial. I went to Norwich for a trial.
Boo!
Oh, they're sharp
it was
tonight.
worse than that.
Tonight. So I went up the road for a trial and hated every minute of it. And then I was asked then to go for Ipswich 4-week trial. After 3 weeks, signed as a professional, Bobby. So, no, it was sort of more whirlwind. But I was 17. What were you, 15 when you came down here? Yeah, I was 15. So I played on Ron Gray's doorstep virtually, and he didn't sign me. I think he was blind or something like that. I don't know. But it was it doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get there, and it's what you make of it after that. That was the key thing. And we were part of a great era with a lot of people with like George and everybody else coming through the system. It was what we thought was the norm, really. It was just a normal thing to happen, like a conveyor belt of real good talent.
And Steve, take us through, obviously, youth team appearances. When did the reserves first team start to come calling?
It came sort of 17, 18, the second year, really. And then obviously the first team side of it came when Clive Woods suffered an injury and the team was struggling a little bit. And they wanted somebody who was left-footed to replace Clive Woods. And they must have thought of me with my silky skills and pace and thought he'll do the job. So they stuck me out in the left wing and said, you just balance the side off and stay out there and give us a left foot to cross the ball. And And basically that was my opportunity in the first team. It lasted 5 games until Clive got fit, and then I was dumped back in the reserves to learn my trade properly, you know. So it was an eye opener when I went into it. You know, I probably wasn't ready, but you know they showed a bit of faith in me, and you know, it was a great experience for me. But obviously it was ultimately the beginning of the career, really.
Who were the senior pros at this point then? Who was around in the dressing room? What were they like to you? What was happening?
Well, it was Mick Mills and Alan Hunter and Kevin Beattie and people like that. And they just, I was cleaning the baths, and you know, if the bath wasn't ready for Alan Hunter in the morning, there was trouble, you know. So.
Did you have to pick his fags out of the bath?
Oh, Stubbs, him and Beattie in the toilet.
Yeah, that's
away,
right. Yeah, but you were lucky you got the baths.
Yeah.
We weren't so lucky at times, were we? We had the drying room and everything else like that, so we didn't want to go there.
They must have liked me.
Yeah.
Give me the good jobs.
That's right.
So I bet there was a scum around the outside of the bath, was there?
Oh,
Sort of,
yeah.
you know?
No.
There was Norwich
There was
everywhere.
nobody from Norwich there.
Ooh! Oh, it's better than that. Come on. Do you know what? How many episodes are we on now? It said, I think, 19. Is it we're on now? Something like that. Is it 18? 20. Okay, I must have missed a couple. It's the first time in 20 episodes anyone's mentioned the scum.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well done.
Well, talking of scum, the job was to clean the baths. We'd clean the baths after training, so they were ready for the morning. But the injured players would come in the morning and use the baths. So when Alan Hunter wanted his bath, when he came in later, it was dirty. So he used to, you know, look at this. Somebody's used it, haven't they? Get it cleaned. So that was, I had to do it sort of 3 or 4 times a day for Alan and Mick Mills. But they loved their baths, they loved their soaks after training, you know, getting on the sort of older side of it. But they were always good-natured with it, and they always looked after us.
I mean, you see lots of photographs of communal baths back in the day. I mean, with a beer sometimes and a fag on and whatever. And the water, no disrespect, Steve, the water did look pretty scuzzy, actually. What was it? Did you two partake?
Of course we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved it. Really loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember being at Highbury. This is Arsenal. The hallowed changing rooms at Arsenal with the marble floor.
Heated marble floor.
Heated marble
heated
floor.
seats. Marble seats.
Immaculate.
Fantastic.
Everything there was immaculate. But after the game, there'd be a case of light ale by the communal bath. There'd be pot of tea. You'd see Alan Hunter, Kevin Beattie in the communal bath with a fag on, with a cup of tea and a beer, all on the go at the same time. And he'd just lay there until it was time to go. You know, everybody just chilled out, had a beer, relaxed, and that was it. Great fun.
Yeah, there was the odd bit of scum everywhere, but it was quite nice. There's no scum lower down, it was just on the surface, so you made sure you stayed down. No, but it was very good.
It's too much detail there.
Yeah,
Terry.
it was, yeah. But particularly if you're a young player going into the bath and the senior players were there, it was pretty risky because you did see the bottom of the bath for a long period, so it's very hard to breathe underwater, to be honest, but there we are. No, you soon learnt to just time your entrance into the bath and time your exit out, so it was good. But no, it was obviously health-wise now you can't have that, but yeah, it's pretty good. I've got a good story about a bath, but with Gaza, but...
No, go on. We'd like to hear that, wouldn't we?
Yeah, come on.
My wife's saying no.
Before dinner or after dinner?
No, well, the story was what he used to do was the players come back from training, and some of the players would go because there's individual baths. This is in the day of Walter Smith was manager, so they had the baths individually. So they would go in there, the baths, turn the taps on, hot water, and put the Radox, the Radox bubble bath, and it would obviously bubble up and all that sort of thing. And then they would come back in and take the rest of the gear off. But Gaza used to go into the baths after they were back inside the change. He used to go into the bathroom and he would have a shower and whatever it was, and come out. So some of the players then used to go into the baths, and they would go into their bath, and they would go in one foot, then the second foot, and they would go to sit down, in the bath. Somebody knows what's coming. And in the bath were a couple of light brown floating objects in the bath. This is going out above the watershed, isn't it? So we're fine. So
It is now, yeah.
So it was, you had to check and make sure that the bath was okay when you went in. So you talk about scum being in the bath, but these were worse, I tell you. So.
Yeah. Anyway.
Was that okay, Mrs. Butcher? Was that all right? Is that okay? Yeah, no, she's shaking her head.
We've got some sausages later on. Or
Excellent,
later on.
Fabulous. Thanks, Terry. So what about the next time at the first team, Steve?
Yeah, the next time really was my opportunity at left back. Again, we had 1 or 2 injuries, so I was sort of filling in if someone got injured. If Walker got injured, I'd play in midfield. But if, say, Franz got injured, they'd move Millsy over to the right, and I'd come in at left back. So left back was my sort of opportunity into the team, really. George was right back, and I was left back. So that was my step in. And then it became who's going to be injured. If anybody's going to be injured, I was going to slot it round. And I was generally the one that was sort of slotted in, either midfield or left back, to sort of make up the group, really. But obviously, in 81, obviously, was when George suffered his horrific injury. And then that gave me a more or less a permanent place. But it just obviously reduced the squad down, again, because Kevin was still injured a bit. He wasn't playing too many games, and then it was sort of more or less a continuous run of games, which was fantastic.
And it was a long, long season, especially for you, Russ, wasn't it, that season? How many games did you play?
66 games for Ipswich, yeah.
Were you not rested?
Rested? You're joking.
Did
Every
you play
game, every minute of every game.
Did you play for England as well?
Yep, 4 games. Thank you. So 70 games all in all, and I think it worked out from the date of the first competitive game to the last competitive game, it was 1 match every 4.8 days for the whole of the season.
Fantastic.
I was listening to Bobby Robson today, and he was talking on a video, I think it's on YouTube. Thank you very much, YouTube. Talking about the 80-81 season, and he was just saying how strange it was to play the 3 games in 8 days that we had to play over the Easter period. I mean, that's what really broke us, how many games we had to play in quick succession. When you talk about trying to survive through injury periods, if you've got a few injuries to key players and you haven't got people that can come in and do a good job for you and help the team in that way, it can hamper you badly, and that's what it did with us, really. Because the last sort of 25% of the season were really when all the big crunch games came together, and even losing Kevin Beattie with a broken arm at Villa Park in the FA Cup semi-final. Not only it was very sad that he got injured then during that game, but we lost him for the rest of the season. He never played again since that day, Kevin, and it was those sort of things. George's bad injury that, where the club tried to carry on as if normal, but you can't just replace somebody like George as easy as that.
So if you'd have had a slightly bigger squad, you perhaps would have gone on to win more than 1 trophy that season?
I think so. I think we were very unlucky in 1 or 2 of the games that panned out towards the end of the season, but you never know. Listen, you look back at it now and you think, we had a fantastic season. Bobby Robson speaks about it as being probably the best side that he ever put together. And I think we've got to remember the role that, like, Steve played in that. Even Kevin Steggles coming in for 2-3 games, in the UEFA Cup. And it wasn't as if Kevin Steggles had played half a dozen games in the first team during the season. He came in from combination football, but still managed to do a good job. That shows you how good the training must have been on a day-to-day basis, so that, when he played in a big, important European team, he just fitted in lovely.
Yeah, I watched the St Etienne away match the other day on YouTube. Also, like one of these things, random things that came up, so I had a look at it. And the pitch, anybody seen that? So the pitch on that day was
horrendous.
Absolutely diabolical. You know, Wes Burns, I think he'd be tackled by all these tufts of earth more than the actual defenders. So it was just unbelievable. Sort of amazed to try and go through all these divots. But it was, Arnold Meeran scored an unbelievable goal that day from about 20, 25 yards. Left foot, first time in the top corner. It was just incredible. And it was great to see Mahrez again. Mahrez scoring a goal. He scored 2 goals. And it was just a wonderful occasion. But the pitches that we had, Steve will tell you, it was awful. But Steve is one of those players that when he got the ball and he ran at people, he wasn't, lightning quick, Michael Owens and all this sort of thing. He was still very quick. You were very quick. You were quicker than me anyway, but that's not telling much. But he would go past people, and the guy he was going past would stick a foot out, and it would go bang, bang, bang in between his legs and come out the other side of the guy. So we used to call you didn't know this, but we used to call you Rick O'Shea because of the ball. And I tell you what, I've never
earned that nickname in training.
I've never seen a player with so many lucky little bounces, but I was glad he was on my side. I tell you, it was really good, really good.
I just think when we played that season, and we never thought we were tired.
No.
But what happened, because of the constant games, we lacked sharpness. So those last sort of 10 to 12 games, whilst we sort of won a few, we lost a few which we should have won. And if we'd been a little bit sharper and had the rest that we could have had, or should have had, I should say, then I think we would have beat them, because we were the better side in most of those games. We just lacked a bit of sharpness.
Well, it was a fantastic season, wasn't it, everybody? Giving us a star on our shirts. Let's not forget that. Because the three of you are here, I just want to hear about some of the stories that I'm sure you can share with our capacity crowd this evening and those listening and watching about those European trips, because you had a lot of fun as well as winning a trophy, didn't you?
Yeah, we had a lot of fun in Greece when the bloody fans were outside the hotel making a racket and then throwing things at the bloody buses and stuff like that, So some of it was quite frightening, it was quite intimidating. But, we got the results that we wanted to get through, and they were good days.
Were you on the roller coaster in Cologne?
Yes.
With everybody else? Yeah, it was great fun.
Yeah, we had a good day. Yeah, when we were all expecting to train, and Bobby Robson took us off to the
What did you think of that then? Because it was literally the day before the game against Cologne, wasn't it? And it sort of takes you off to Fantasia Land.
Is that what you expected when you heard it was Fantasia Land? A roller coaster?
Well, you can call it what you like. It was still hard work wherever we were normally, but Fantasia, actually, it was true.
There's a better one in Soho.
It's a better
I'd
really?
be careful.
No.
Mrs. Osmond's here as well as Mrs. Butcher.
But
She went with me last time.
It was just incredible. But then, you look now when you say that the teams have tough schedules, and they do have a lot of rest in terms of the training. You have to prepare that. If you're going to be successful, you're going to play a lot of games. So therefore, you've got to be careful. So
the game I enjoyed the most was the one when we played on the ice in the snow.
Oh, Lodz, yeah.
Lodz, Vitsud Lodz. It was about minus 14 degrees. Unbelievable. So cold. But I think the UEFA official who spoke to Bobby Robson saying, listen, I know you've got a five goal lead and everything. This is a second leg. If you don't play the game tonight, you've got to come back in March. And this was like a December game or something like that. And we said, well, we can't. It just, play havoc with the whole of the season for us. And we've got a 5-0 lead. Let's play the game. So they just brushed the top layer of snow off the pitch, repainted all the lines in red, and said, well,
off you go.
Just off you go. And in the changing room, we had, a litre bottle of White and Mackay's scotch. And Bobby Robson said, listen, go and do your warm-up out on the pitch, come back into the changing room before the game starts. And then as you go out for the game to start, just have a good slug of the scotch before you go out. He said, because it'll be cold out there and it'll hit your lungs and everything. The queue behind beat. Come on, Kev, move on. Give everybody a go, will you?
It took about 5 minutes to have a drink, yeah.
Isn't there a story about the kit man as well, having a crash as well?
Kit man crashed, yeah.
Two crashes. Yeah, because we're going back. It was the day after, I think, John Lennon was killed.
Yeah.
So we were singing Beatles songs on the way back on the bus. So we're going on the bus on the icy roads, and Wheels, Trevor Curtin, the kit man, he had a mini bus, so it had all the kit in it, obviously. So he says, I'll catch you up, sort of thing. So He caught us up and he was tooting on the horn, so they went past us. And the next, about 5 minutes later, we saw this vehicle by the road crashed. So we were going, unlucky pal, it's unlucky, and all that sort of thing. So I think we sang "Let It Be" or something like that. So then we carried on, and then we saw further on, about another 20 miles further on, we saw another crash vehicle, and we thought, the roads are really difficult tonight. So then we get to the airport, and Wheels eventually comes to the airport, and he says, "You wouldn't believe this." He says, "Well, what was the journey like?" And I said, "Well, ours was pretty good, but we saw a couple of crashes." He says, "Well, that was bloody me."
Yeah.
He said, "I dislocated my shoulder on the first one," he says. So then we carried on. He says, "I'm in pain." He says, and then we crashed again and put the shoulder back in. But he still got there. Yeah. It was great.
Yeah, 2 crashes, yeah.
Yeah, two
crashes.
He lost his fingers, didn't he? So we used to always say, how many minutes left, Wheels? And he put his fingers up like this. We were like, is that 2.5 or 3.5? Or how many minutes left? We don't know. Be precise. And he used to go like that. That's what he used to do. Yeah. Great lad. We must get him on the show.
No, he's on the list to come on the show, definitely.
Wheels,
definitely.
top man.
Yeah.
Top man.
Any other memories from those trips then, Steve?
I just thought it was a great experience, for everybody, from the fans, and obviously when George took over and they had their own sort of European experience. I think they're great days for the fans, So sport was fantastic, and everybody remembers obviously the final, especially in Amsterdam, and it was a great time of the year to be looking around Amsterdam, and what better way than to celebrate it with a win?
6 different countries, wasn't it? 6 rounds, 6 different countries we visited in that run.
Amazing times. Great for the fans. Not easy to travel in those days, was it, either, for the fans?
No, but we had a great... for the final especially. I think everybody in the whole of Suffolk went to Amsterdam for the second leg.
Anybody there? Hey.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a story about the day before in St Etienne? Some of you got in a bit of strife with Mr. Robson?
I don't. I refer to my solicitor friend here.
Well, we managed to go to a nice little bar on the day before the game and have a couple of, we needed a couple of drinks just to settle the nerves and everything else like that.
Of course you do. Keep your fluids up. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So we did that. But then a lot of the other boys, four or five of the other boys, went to a different bar and got caught.
Well, they showed their inexperience, didn't they?
They did, yes.
They got caught. And they got caught. So there's a little bit of a kerfuffle about that, and Sir Bobby wasn't very pleased. And so when we went 1-0 down after about 10 minutes against St Etienne the following night, you can just imagine he was like going absolutely berserk. But it was probably our best European display that whole season, and we're fantastic.
Hadn't he threatened to fine those who were involved or something?
Yeah, 2 weeks' wages, he said, yeah. 2 weeks' wages. We were laughing our socks off because he never found us, so that was great. So we were going, go on, find them, Gaffer, go on, go all the way, go on. Don't back up now.
Yeah. But he relented, didn't he, on the plane back? Or?
Yeah, he had to, really, because it was magnificent. So, but it was... The flights home were just great, weren't they? I can't remember much about them, to be honest, but they were great coming home. And the stewardesses would always give us a big bag of little miniatures for the bus journey back to Ipswich. Well, it was fantastic. It was great.
Wasn't it?
We used to nick Mills's cigars, didn't we?
Yeah, Mickey's little
He wouldn't
cheroots.
share them, so we had to nick them.
Yeah, we had to pinch them. Yeah. But it was a roller coaster ride, wasn't it? Literally, it was just great fun. And Stevie, when the younger guys came in as well, we were one big family, we really were, and we looked after each other, unbelievably well. And we thought it would continue and go on, forever, but unfortunately it didn't. But it was just an amazing time, it really was.
What was it like to be part of that winning team, being there as the trophies lifted aloft in a...
Well, it was an honour to be part of that team, Yeah, I think most of them were internationals, and they're going away on it wasn't an international week at that time, was it? They just went on the Monday and they came back on the Thursday. So I think I was training on my own. Me and Coops were having a bit of shooting practice for 3 days, and then they all came back. So it was fantastic because I'd seen them. I'd been watching them on the Wednesday night playing for England and Scotland and what have you, and it was just an honour to be part of that group, and to be playing with such world-class players.
But you were like consistent. Was there some sort of record about your consecutive appearances?
There was at the time, yeah. It was. I think I beat Walkie's 257. I played consecutive games, and that was only. Thank you.
That's a lot.
And that ended when I was sent off at Everton in the cup.
You sent off?
Yeah, it was the only time I was sent off, and it's the only time Everton versus Ipswich has been on the telly, and everybody says to me, I saw you get sent off. Sent off once.
What for?
I was a bit late on
A bit late.
on Trevor Stephen. He took a dive.
That's not what Trev said.
Fantastic record, that. I mean, absolutely fantastic record.
Yeah.
Final again for you two boys, though. I mean, it was just amazing, wasn't it? I mean, the scenes at the final whistle, can you remember much about it?
No, because we were ushered off the pitch, weren't we? You know,
Yeah.
You normally wanted to get your trophy and then parade it in front of your fans, but because the fans came on, we had to go into the dressing room. And that's when Alan Brazil put his famous bathrobe on. You see that? How can you get presented with the UEFA Cup with a bathrobe on? Well, there we are. That was Alan.
Did he have a sponsorship deal with a
Well,
bathrobe
he might have done, but
manufacturer?
he certainly wouldn't get into that bathrobe now, that's for sure.
They did ask us to leave the pitch, didn't they? They said they would clear the pitch. The fans would go back into the stands. They'd clear the pitch, and then we could come out and have a proper sort of celebration. But it didn't really happen. It wasn't going to happen, and therefore it was a bit of an anticlimax, really, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was. We were all standing behind Millsy because we thought there's no way he's going to lift that UEFA Cup because that was bloody heavy. But he did. Little bugger did. He lifted it right up there. It was right, wasn't it? It was
He didn't
great.
wait for us to get round him, did he?
No,
Like
he
we do
didn't.
now. He just went off. He just
cleared
knows
off with
he did
it,
it on
yeah.
his own.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. I mean, then the journey back, we got back, and then we had the open-top bus parade. That was just incredible. That was really, really good. You've seen the team of 78 go round, and now we were there as well on the town hall and all that sort of thing. It was just great. I mean, you hope that those scenes can be replicated when it comes to, you know, the championship and going up and things like this. So yeah, once you've had that. Once you've been there and done it, you really want to do it again, but it doesn't come along a lot. So if it does happen, just make the most of it. But we had a few drinks on top of the bus, and did we fill the cup with champagne? It took about 10 bottles of champagne to fill the cup up. So
Yeah.
that took about half an hour to drink, so that was quite nice.
Was that on your own?
Yeah. No.
Can't believe he had a drink.
No. Did you learn how to drink when you got into the team?
I think you showed me how to not drink.
Good
Some of
days.
those trips away in Holland.
Yeah,
were
pre-season.
quite,
Pre-season
yeah,
was good.
pre-season ones usually. Where
Yeah, we've got
there was
hours
a bit of
ahead tonight. You want to hear a bit more about these trips to Holland?
Yeah, there was a bit, one or two, and Zeist. I
Pre-season?
think sort of rings a bell.
Oh,
doesn't it?
Zeist was good,
pre-season was
yeah.
good fun.
Zeist that's the home of the KNVB, which is the Dutch FA. So we used to go there pre-season, and it's the middle of nowhere, really. Not much to do except after games, have a drink. There wasn't that much to do, was it? So we did have a drink. And then
You had a drink and a fight. So
No,
so
we
when I
never-
say fight, it was a food fight.
We didn't have a fight. Well, we didn't have a fight between ourselves, but we smashed up a few Budweiser bottles and everything else on the table that was there, yeah.
It looked like a riot, to
Yeah.
be honest. The
But
next
I-
morning.
I enjoyed it. It was good fun, yeah. But I was led astray by Paul Mariner because Paul Mariner was just, wow.
It was you two.
He
It was
was-
you and Mariner.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
Possibly,
it was,
yeah, I think so.
yeah.
About the trophy, because the trophies now, you cannot get anywhere near these trophies. The FA Cup and the UEFA Cup. I mean, George, you remember the FA Cup. I mean, you could take it home, couldn't you? Could you do the same with the UEFA Cup? Could you have that? Because now that you can't get anywhere near it and they're surrounded by security guards.
No.
Did you get anywhere near it or not?
Never saw it again, did we?
No, I think the cup went round the top of the bus. I think we all lifted it up at various stages, but I didn't really care because we'd won it and that was it. You know, it's just wow, just enjoy the celebrations because it doesn't come along a lot for a town like Ipswich in particular, and particularly the team you support. As a boy, just to be there was just immense. You know, dreams are made of that. So it was.
And it was a
great.
big trophy then, you know, big in stature. You know, it did weigh an absolute ton. So anybody that picked that up on their own definitely got some biceps about them. But
So
it
it
was
took
a
special
big
people to lift
competition.
that up full of champagne then, did it?
Well, you needed a bit of a hand with it.
Yeah, I needed a bit of a hand, but
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe it's now the Europa League. What is all that about? You know, it's just it's pathetic, isn't it?
not much.
Absolutely.
We won it
yeah.
when it was a good competition.
Yeah, we did.
Well, you certainly did. Give them a big round of applause for that's fantastic. UEFA Cup winners. And of course, your career sort of took a different turn, didn't it?
It did. Obviously, we were relegated into what was League 2 then. Was it League 2? League 1? League 2? League 2 under Bobby Ferguson. And my contract was coming to an end. And the club really were looking to sell everybody. They want anybody who they could get some money for. They just wanted rid of them. They needed the money to finance the stand and all the debts that had accrued through that. So I had an offer from Sheffield Wednesday to go there, and I joined Howard Wilkinson. It was a great time.
Damn that Pioneer stand. Damn that Pioneer stand. That's got a lot to answer for, that stand, hasn't it?
has. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, you
lot
just
to
hope
answer for.
you just hope history doesn't repeat itself. But no, it was incredible. You know, the talent that went. And would you go for 300,000 to Sheffield Wednesday?
Something like that. I think it was going to go to a tribunal, and then they settled just before the day before it went to a tribunal, something like that. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I broke my leg after 5 games. You know, I'd had 257, was it, for Ipswich?
Consecutive, yeah.
And then I broke my leg after 5 games for Sheffield Wednesday. And then on my recovery, my first game back in the reserves, some young lads decided I'll have that scalp there. So he took me out and he did my knee. And then it was over the next 3 years, I had 5 operations on my knee, trying to get fit again. So it was a tough time, considering that I'd been sort of so lucky at Ipswich, and then all of a sudden I'm sort of on the treatment table. But you know, I was probably happier on the treatment table because the football that Howard Wilkinson was trying to play was just not what I was used to at Ipswich. You know, it was a bit
Slight difference between Howard Wilkinson
slight
and
difference.
Bobby
I mean,
Robson.
he sold it to me. He said, "Oh, right, we're going to change the style. We're going to bring in some footballers." He brought in 4 or 5 of us: Tony Galvin from Tottenham and Gary Owen from Man City. You know, that sort of thing. He said, "We're going to change the style." And I think after one game, he said, "Forget it. Back to let's." Just, and it was like, it was just not enjoyable. The training was, you know, not what I was used to, and it was a difficult time for me. So it was tough. It was tough. I mean, one incident, we were playing, we were having a little practice match, and they had Lee Chapman up front. We had Lee Chapman up front. So just between ourselves, and the defence had dropped off, so there wasn't really any space behind, and Lee had about 30 yards of space, so I played it into his feet, and obviously you know him a little bit from Ipswich, and he ended up losing it. So the manager, Howard, stopped the game. I thought he was going to tell him off. So he's come over to me, "What are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean, what are you doing?" I said, "I played it into his feet. He's got 30 yards of space to play it in his feet." "It's Lee Chapman. Don't play it into his feet. Knock it over the top and let him chase it." So, well, there's no space over the top. Doesn't matter. Knock it over the top, give it to them, and he'll chase after it. And I thought, I'm at the wrong club here. I am at the wrong club.
Well, you had a fantastic career with us at Ipswich Town, and I bet you're glad you didn't do the apprenticeship and you took the football course with Dad's recommendation.
Oh, no, I joined, that was my join
Yeah.
as an apprentice, so I had to suffer it, you know, for 2 years as well, doing
but
the
certainly not the
jobs.
apprenticeship that you could have gone down to.
No, certainly
No.
not the work, the real work one. No.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause. Our special guest this week, Steve McCall. Steve's going to stay with us. He's going to part the quiz in the second half of the evening. I've got the football here tonight. You all watch the show. This is the ball for the Keep It Up Challenge. It's time that we talk about that now, sponsored by our good friends, and they're here tonight. Ginger Pickle! Steve, the ball.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Want me to kick it up there? Like, have it.
I understand. I had my hair cut today, especially for tonight, and my hairdresser Martin, who'll be watching, said you've done your hamstring playing tennis.
I have, yeah.
Oh dear.
I'll give it a go if you want me to give it a go.
Yes, go on, Steve.
Are you sure?
I've got to beat 3. I've been told
Well,
to beat 3.
Was it Mark? Was it the left hamstring or the right hamstring?
Two-footed, Terry, you know that.
I know that, but
Here he goes.
who was it?
I wasn't expecting this.
Scully did it just right foot.
Scoey did 79 on his right foot only and got bored. He'd still be doing it now, wouldn't he?
No, he wasn't the only one that got bored.
No, he wasn't the only one. No.
Yeah, he had a capacity crowd, of 20. We had George. George was carrying a big injury. Chambo's here, 57, wasn't it, Luke?
59, I think.
I think so, 59, I think. Yeah,
two-footed
59.
as well.
Yep.
Two-footed as well.
Yeah.
So Butch 3.
Yeah. Well, what I've done, you see, I've just given. I said to Steve when
Well,
he
this
came
could.
in, all I've got is 3. So if you must beat that, So therefore, I don't want the players to feel bad if they get a low
That's very
score.
kind of. It's very decent. Yeah. This could knock you off the leaderboard.
Colin, are
Completely.
you ready with
Yeah,
the
well, I
pyrotechnics?
hope it does. Yeah, go on, yeah,
Okay.
it does.
Have you got the timing to do it? 60
Yeah.
seconds.
Yep.
Phil, have you got your whistle?
No.
Can you whistle?
Not really, no. We'll give it a go.
60 seconds. Well, you can do as many as you can, okay? And if you keep going for 60 seconds, that will be a miracle. But that's how long you've got in total. But it's your first attempt, all right? Don't start yet.
That's
Don't.
practicing.
No. You want me to count that? No, come on. Are you ready, everybody? You're going to cheer and count.
You got your watch? You ready?
Come on, Phil. Blow something.
Ooh.
That was like Roy Kent.
Oh! Do we give him 6 or 4? 6. Well done, Steve McCall! With a hamstring injury.
That's level with me.
Butch is off the leaderboard, I think, now.
He only just beat me then. No, I'm happy with that.
Second bottom.
Yeah.
Well, you're the 2 strongest ones holding up everybody else, so it's all good.
That's
It's all good. Thank you, our friends at Ginger Pickle, for sponsoring that. Now, if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe the channel. It really does make a difference to us going forward, and it doesn't cost. It is absolutely free. Don't forget, you can check out lifesapitch.tv for mugs and T-shirts, also available here in our auditorium tonight. You can get them from lifesapitch.tv. Time now for our town news in brief, sponsored by John Keeble Cars of Bramford, who are here tonight. With Phil Ham from twtd.co.uk.
The news hat.
Doesn't he look like Paddington, everybody?
I think I'm going to have to try and lose this.
No, it's here to stay.
Sobriquet.
No, it's great. It's the marmalade sandwiches in your
Stops
bag.
everything, all the lights reflecting back at everybody.
Is that right?
Phil?
Is this
Yeah.
designed to kind of...
You can't
stop
afford
everyone
powder for your
being
head,
dazzled?
so you've got a hat
Yeah.
instead from our North American friends.
It is.
Actually, we're international tonight, everybody. On the old radio show. Anybody used to listen to that on Radio Suffolk on the way to the games? No, the audience wasn't very good. That's okay. We only had the F-bomb dropped twice on that radio
did.
show. Twice. Both by German supporters from Fortuna Blues. And one of them is here tonight. Freedy, where are you?
Are we going to get him
From
up?
Fortuna Blues. He dropped the F-bomb, and I was rather shocked at the time on live radio. And my only apology was, I'm sorry, everybody, he's German. Absolutely true story. That's why he's sitting right back there tonight and not up here.
Can't be picked up by the microphones. Yeah.
Yeah. The news,
The
Phil.
news. Well, another new record last night. In last night's 3-1 home 3-1. By the way, the last 3-1, I just looked it up. Newcastle at home in April 2017.
Quite a while ago,
It's
then.
quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
So yes, Town set a new record for home league goals in a calendar year. So during 2023, we've now scored 66 goals. The previous record was 63, established under Sir Alf Ramsey in 1956 and 1957. And Town's, which is, quite extraordinary, really. And Town still have 4, my computer's Just gone on to... Oh, there we go. Town still have 4 home games left before the end of the year, so there's plenty of time to increase that. And we should do, given that Town have scored at least 3 goals in all their home championship matches this season, bar 1, which, again, quite remarkable performance, really. And Wednesday's win took the Blues to 42 points, 3 more on Saturday against Coventry, and Town will have enough points to have stayed up last season. Well, I always say the first thing when you come up is to make sure you stay up, isn't it? And so Town have done that. Yes, last season, Reading and Blackpool in 22nd and 23rd, they picked up 44, so that shows quite how well we're doing, doesn't it?
So Norwich is still away off that then?
Well, yeah, Norwich just, it's
Fabulous.
touch and go, isn't it? Touch and go.
Fabulous.
Blue Wilson, the best of luck to Ipswich Town women's captain Blue Wilson, who's left the club this week to focus on opportunities outside football. Wilson, 21, has struggled to get fit since suffering an ACL injury in October 2021, an injury which is far from uncommon in women's football, something she talked to us about, didn't she, when we was with us on the radio last season. So good luck to her in the future. And Norwich tickets. And finally, the derby against Norwich on Saturday, the 16th of December, sold out. Seats having gone on sale only on Monday. A crowd of 29,000 plus will watch the Blues attempt to beat the Canaries for the first time since 2009. Are we confident? Yeah. We are, aren't we?
Oh, we're more confident than that, for goodness sake. Come on! Yeah. Up the Town!
Hey, you practising for that day? Because obviously this is your job on that day, isn't it?
I am, yeah.
And
I'm just wondering what I should say to the Norwich fans on the PA that night. Go home. Could be my last performance at Portman Road.
But it'd be worth it.
But what a way to go out that would be, wouldn't it?
It'd be worth it, wouldn't it? So yes, there endeth the news.
Is that the news?
That's it.
Give a round of applause for the news.
Thank you very much.
Let's see what happened on this day in the past. Sponsored by John Keeble Cars of Bramford, who are here tonight. No, that's the wrong one. Let's have a look at what's happening. Told you I'd cock it up, didn't I?
There's always one mistake from you, I tell you now.
There are too many mistakes. Shall we edit that bit out? Let's have a look at what's happened to ITFC on this day, brought to you in association with, and they are here tonight, Fred Olsen Logistics, everybody!
Well, on this day, Saturday the 30th of November, 1985 is the year, South African striker Mitch de Vrij scored his first Portman Road brace as high-flying Sheffield Wednesday was sent packing 2-1. In total, de Vrij scored 45 goals in 255 games and won a couple of England under-21 caps whilst at Ipswich. Also on Saturday the 30th of November, this time in 2002, Jamaican David Johnson scored a brace against his old club as Nottingham Forest stayed third in Division 1 with a 2-1 victory over Town at the City Ground. You weren't there, Chambo, that time, were you? Forest? Far before your time. A last-minute Gareth Williams' own goal couldn't save the Blues, and that's all that happened on the 30th of November.
Well, special memories for those who are concerned. Thank you very much, Russ. We are almost at the end of Life's a Pitch TV, our Christmas special this evening. Oh. Shall I do that again? We're almost at the end of our Life's a Pitch TV this evening.
You're more upset than that.
Oh. But there is time for the Man v Fat results.
Hey!
We love them. This week's results from the two leagues. Cheer for your favourite team. Far From Athletic 7. Seattle Quarter Pounders 8. To Lose a Few Pounds 4. Man Titty 3. Sorry, Butch. Pork Vale 11. LA Galaxy Bar 3. L'Argentina 11. FC 20 Stone 7. Hardly Athletic 7. Dynamo Kebab 9. Can you congratulate Pork Vale on wrapping up the title and giving our 80 players a cheer for losing 16.5 kilograms between them last week, which is amazing. Could you also say hello to Darren Porter and David Sullivan, along with Man v Fat Mark, who are in the audience with us here tonight, boys. Over there, well done. Thank you very much.
Mark, I think, did the titties fall out again in that? Because they fell out last week, didn't they? Or 2 weeks ago. So they must have fallen out again.
They clearly need more support next season, Butch.
Much more support.
Are they out the cup?
They're out, yes. They're out of both cups, I think. Yeah, they're unbelievable.
Bravo. It's all right, I'll wait, don't worry. Look, thanks ever so much for being part of the show tonight, Steve. And you're going to stay with us because part 2, coming up after we've had something to eat, is our very special question of sport. We've got George Burley here as well, Luke Chambers here, and Westy's coming along in a little while as well to help us with our question of sport this evening. So thank you very much. Give Steve McCall a big round of applause. So keep in touch with us. Check out our Life's Pitch socials on Facebook, Insta and X. On YouTube, don't forget to like us, please. It does make all the difference, and it doesn't cost. It helps us keep the show going. And check out lifesapitch.tv for more. Thanks again to our main sponsor, DPS Tech. We're also supported by, cheer if you're here from the groups tonight, DPS Tech, down the front. Also supported by All About Hearing. Well done. Marketing company Ginger Pickle. Forward Floors, Come Hither Design, the Hudson Group, Sound 4 Pro Audio, Richard down the front, Fred Olsen Logistics, John Keeble Cars in Bramford, and the Dove in St Helen Street. Thank you very much, Capacity Crowd. Thank you for listening or watching. We will be back with you the same time next week. And don't forget, keep cheering on the town. And thanks for being a fantastic Capacity Crowd tonight. Upper Town, good night, everybody!